Today I'm presenting you a full guide on Blitzcrank. I mean Kingpin. Kingpin is a hunter that can hook and stun enemies to their death. He also has a big burst of damage and excels at kiting away from enemies. His shotgun allows him to also fight mid range and close range depending on the situation. Let's get into his abilities. Kingpin's LMB is a scattergun that fires a short range burst of 7 slugs, each doing damage. After shooting, Kingpin will lose his empowered state on his auto, meaning that his next shot will be spread. Wait a second and a half, and you will be empowered again. It also lets you do more damage to armor whenever you are empowered. Next is his RMB, that is a hook that lets you grab people all the way from their position to your body. It also grounds them for about half a second, giving you time to land your stun. Personally, my favorite way to use it is to grab someone over the abyss and dunk them to their death. It's a great way to pop your crown and res your team. But watch out, you cannot use any abilities other than your dash before the hook finishes, so make sure you don't die to abyss. Another way to use your hook is to save an ally from an overextended position, or even to kidnap the wisp into a safe position for him to be rezzed. It's also good for confirming kills after killing an enemy. Then comes his movement ability, which is separated into two dashes, the short one and the long one. You can use the short dash whether or not you are on the ground, but the air dash only works if you are in the air. The shift is the ability that I always max because at level 4, every time you dash, it resets your empowered autos. It also grants a passive that allows you to reduce cooldown on your dashes whenever you hit an empowered shot, which is why Kingpin is one of the best at kiting away from enemies. Here are some texts that you can keep notes of. You can shoot your empowered shot before dashing, and because of travel time, your bullets will reach him after your CDs has been utilized, giving you the possibility of recycling your dashes while also having an empowered shot ready to be used on your next position. Our third ability is Kingpin's Q, which is his melee stun that whenever you hit an enemy, he will be stunned in between 1 and 1.4 seconds, depending on the level of the ability. It also has a significant amount of damage, helping you in one-shotting enemies. There is another way to use it for even more damage, even though I don't recommend it, and that is to get it to level 4, which will increase its damage by 75% depending on the height you are at when landing the ability. The higher you are, the more damage you do. This is also the reason I don't recommend it to level it up to level 4, and that's because those environments where you'll be able to profit off that damage to its fullest only depend on powers like Icarus Glide and Frog Jump, which you will rarely get in the early game. Good thing to keep in mind is that the level 4 ability also increases your stun duration by 0.2 seconds. Kingpin has one of the few abilities in the game that can spike people without them gliding, and that is probably his biggest strength. Being able to create a threat when fighting over Abyss, or even sometimes kidnapping people with a hook into dashing in the Abyss to force a one-shot is always a great feeling when playing him. Kingpin's last ability is his ultimate that fires 2 energy blasts dealing massive bursts of damage. You need to be cautious because there's a delay for each shot, and while you're channeling it, you also have reduced movement speed, making you an easier target to focus. I personally love this ability, but I know that some Kingpins don't like to use it, so feel free to try it out for yourself. The way I use it is either to create space for my team when pushing into a fight, or to try to one-shot someone after landing my slam. Another good way to use it is to try to break out the shield with it. Depending on how close you are, you can one-shot it. Finally, we have Kingpin's passive, which allows him to do 50% more damage when backstabbing. This rewards the playstyle of an initiator where most of the time they need to catch people off guard to fulfill their role. He also has a passive that grants him 2.5% max health per kill or assist to a maximum of 10 stacks, which can be beneficial in late game. Now that the abilities are all presented, let me tell you about the best build for Kingpin. To benefit from all abilities to the maximum, I recommend running Hybrid if you want to play around your R damage, and full AP if you want to do more damage when you land a stun. Personally, I run Hybrid because the way I see my Q is that it will most likely follow up a hook which will either end by a spike into Abyss or me feeding an enemy to my team. If you like running invis items on KP, I recommend running full AP since you will be able to dash into a Q, making them unable to move for around a second, which will be your window to do the most damage as possible before disengage. This playstyle also means that you will most likely need to come from an off angle, which you will do by isolating yourself from a fight, making it hard for your team to follow up. The reason I prefer Hybrid is that it allows you to create space in a fight and peel for your team by playing a frontal type of teamfight. Also, you are capable of using your R without being punished because you can tank more while being vulnerable during the cast. The items that I take are Interweaver for the dagger, an upgrade from Tech Blade, and Vive Infuser for the helmet, an upgrade from Tech Helmet. Interweaver gives me a slight bonus burst when trying to do damage to a target that I slam. And Vive Infuser makes me regen health after dashing, which helps me when you are getting poked or when you use your R and that your target isn't isolated. Also, it's good for kiting enemies by keeping you healthy during the chase. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this type of content, please drop a like and think about subscribing. Also, if you feel like chatting with me, come on my Twitch where I stream SUPERVIVE almost daily. And on that note, I hope y'all have a great day or a good night. Bye bye.